Happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome in. Sorry about it being a little bit late. I had a few things to do this morning that took me a little bit longer than I expected. But here we are on this Saturday morning. So I think today we're going to be playing around with just some more PowerShell Universal. I think that's really going to be the plan. We might change it up halfway through if we feel like it, if chat feels like it as well. But let's go ahead. Let's just change the scene here. There you go. Um, so we have our application fully built out from our first stream, what we had planned out to do. It is actually fully complete now. So we have the ability to look up our employees here. We have the ability to select our employee. We actually get all the details from that employee. We can see that it is not enabled. So what we can actually do is we can enable the account right from there. Now it is enabled, and we can even reset the password as well. And it'll give us the password. And if we actually just re-click on the employee here, we can actually see that we can actually now disable the account as well. So we wanted to see if there was ways to kind of improve these buttons a little bit, make them update a little bit better. So let's see if we can actually do that in a way here. So we're gonna just test that out pretty much and see what we can actually do. All right, so let's go out here, I think it is, and we're just gonna log into our dashboard. All right, so there we have our dashboard here. Just move this window around here. Just pop out the chat. Give me 1 second here. Perfect. All right. All right. So, let's go ahead and let's see if we can change visually how it kind of looks. I'd be interested in that for sure. That's going to be the first thing that I kind of want to do. So hopefully we could actually do that here. Right, so okay, so this is how we might be able to refresh options, I guess. Okay. The dynamic regions seem like something we might be able to use. But I want to mostly see if we can really just organize it so we can kind of have the ability to just really kind of modify how it kind of looks a little bit. Um, that's more navigation, logo, header content, static pages. Welcome in, Shane Williams. How are you doing this Saturday? I'm guessing we could. I'm doing pretty good myself. It's been a crazy, hectic week, but it's Saturday, so it's the weekend now. So hopefully, everyone gets a chance to relax on weekends. I know that's not always the case with IT and like system administration jobs. Uh, but that's my plan for this weekend for sure. Layout. Maybe it'll be layout that'll be better. So if we do a grid layout, okay, so they actually do have grids that we can use. Okay. That might actually be something we want. That would actually be very good. Um, so I would almost want this box to kind of be small, and then these things to be beside the box. So, um, let's open up Paint here. We can probably do new, don't save. What I would like to have is, so let's draw it out so we can actually really see what we want. So our search is going to be here. I think our search, we're going to keep it exactly where it is. I don't really think that that is a problem. Um, and then what I'd like to do is do that'll be like the search results. And I think I want to the search results there. And then all how much information do we have in here? We do have quite a bit of information. I don't know if it would look weird if we kind of grouped it all together, or if maybe there could be a different way to kind of show these user details and these group memberships. I have a feeling there is. I have a feeling that we could probably start using, I think it was typography. No, I don't think it was typography. But it was in dynamic regions. Yeah, so it was new UD typography. It looks like you could put text. So I think we could actually like clean it up pretty nicely and not have this as a table and just have this like data kind of like appear up here and have it just like really one screen where you don't have to scroll. I think that'd be kind of nice. Because I'm not really a fan of having to scroll all the way down right now. I would like to have it just like one simple pane, um, and make it really very easy for the user to actually use. I think that'd be kind of nice. Um, so let's give that a try. Um, we already have all of our stuff here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to copy paste all the stuff from this page. I'm going to leave the page. I am going to actually go ahead and create a whole other dashboard here. And we are going to call it help desk tool. Yeah, help desk tool. And we're going to say it is version 1.1 here in the description. Welcome in Magical Story Corner. How's it going today? We're going to open it as blank. That's fine. We're going to say it's a 7.2 application. We're not going to do authentication. So that should be all fine. So right now the application that you're seeing running on localhost is PowerShell Universal. So it's an application that lets us create basically dashboards or endpoints using PowerShell. I'm making a password manager with PowerShell and SQLite. That's really cool, Shane. You're doing it with like a GUI, I'm assuming. Cool. Help desk tool version 1.1. Okay. And we're going to say that. Okay. And now what we're going to do is once we create our dashboard, we're going to go ahead and we're going to actually, so in here, we're going to edit the details here. Oh, audio stopped. I'm seeing my mic is still on. Can you guys hear me still? Can you guys hear me now? Okay, perfect. I was going to post in chat if you guys could hear me, but I already got the response, so that's perfect. All right, so we're going to create a new page, and we're going to call this page index, I guess. Actually, let's call this Jacked Help Desk Tool. We're going to put that there. We're going to put the version 1.1 here. Okay, perfect. So that's done. So let's go ahead and let's, okay. Let's go ahead, let's save this. We're just going to go copy out of here again. And let's just go ahead and let's paste it in here. This way we just have a workable version. We don't lose what we've done. So if we ever need to go back and look what we did in the past, we'll have it. So really what I want to do first is put that search box. So what we want is, we really want a grid. So a grid here. And I'm going to have it as, I think, XX6 and XS6 here. So we're going to have two grids. So we need a new UD grid. think that's what it was, right? New UD grid. Yep, perfect. And we're going to have the container. And then they put content. Yeah, content. Okay. And then it was just new UD grid and then item and then the size. Okay. New UD grid, item, and we're going to put extra small size. We're going to put 6 here. We're going to put content once again. So that's going to be our content there. We're going to do new UD grid. We're going to put our thing here right away. Extra size small, and then content. Do that. And then what I'm going to do is new UD typography here. And we're going to put text. And I'm going to say search results, or sorry, selected employee details will go here. So this is where we want the selected employee details. And then we're going to put our search. If my select will stop going crazy on me. Go. All right, we're going to copy that, paste that into our grid here. So I think it's going to be easier if I just go like that. Just hit shift and then just select all of these here. And we're just going to tab this in by 1, just so it looks a little bit better. Perfect. And we're just going to tab that in here. Okay, perfect. And now all we're going to do is we're just going to remove all of this since we don't need this anymore. And we're going to see what this looks like alone here. So let's save this. And let's get the page, which is going to be do a get UD page name. It's going to be Jacked Help Desk Tool. Perfect. So let's save that. Now let's view our dashboard here. And let's see what it looks like. All right, so yeah, so we have our search and we have select employee details will go here. That's where we're going to put all of our employee details. What I'm actually thinking about doing is limiting the search to actually, let's limit that to, I really think that 2 might be enough. And then I'm thinking of doing the details here. And then controls / buttons go here. And so that's 2. So we could put these as 5 and 5. Let's just save that. And let's refresh this. Yeah, so there you go. So we're gonna do our search. It's gonna pop down here is gonna be basically all of our details. Or what we could do is we could do the search, and then the search will go here on the top, and then the results would go down here. What do you guys think about that? I'm open to hear some feedback. Oh, and there's some ads going on. So once the ads are over, we'll keep going. Um, um, what I'm thinking is I'm really thinking of maybe putting this up here instead. I think that would make more sense. Not sure what you guys think on that. Seems like the ads might be over at this point. Let's see how this goes. I mean, we can always start shifting it around once we have them in grids anyways. So I think that that'll be okay. So let's take the buttons at least. So that's the reset password button, unlock button, enable account button, and disable button. We're going to cut that. We're going to paste that in here. And we're just going to format this a little bit nicer. Okay, most of it's already formatted nicely, except for some parts here, which we can just adjust ever so slightly. So new UD button, that's going to be all in there. Okay, new UD text box is going to be there. The button, and then we're going to put this in there, this in there, this in there. We're just making the formatting a little bit easier to read, especially if we come back to this later on. It'll just be much, much nicer to deal with pretty much. I'm just going to remove all these empty spaces. I don't think we actually need those. For readability, I think it's actually more readable if we don't have these spaces right now. It'll make it longer than it needs to be. Move these spaces once again. This is where I definitely think coding a lot of this in Visual Studio is probably advantageous, just because like the editor is a little bit nicer to work with, in my opinion. All right, so that seems to be pretty good. So if I save this and we go ahead, so there's our things right there. So all we really need to do is put our selected employee details in here. So we need to just figure out how we're going to do that. So right now, when we select the employee on row selection, is we have user groups. Okay. Oh, yeah, that could actually be super handy. Thanks for pointing that out, Shane. That's actually going to be pretty handy, especially when looking at like a lot of this code is it gets quite long, and that small little editor window makes it a little bit hard to look at. This definitely makes it quite a bit easier. So at least we can shrink it back down. We can go look at what we want, and then we can re-expand it. That's awesome. Thanks, Shane. Thanks for pointing that out. All right, so now that we have that, we already know that we could put this stuff right away in that box. So let's go do that. Let's go find right here. Put that in there. And this is going to be grid for controls and buttons. Grid for selected employee details. Okay, perfect. All right, so we have that. Hit save. So now if we go in here, refresh it, we get our user details right there, which is great. We do a search here. Okay, perfect. Now we just got to get these details up here. All right. Okay. I think what's going to be the easiest thing to do is going to be a new UD typography text. We're going to put that as blank for now. And then when we select our employee, what I want to do is I want to see what it's going to look like. So I want a typography, and I think the okay, so we have an ID, so we can have our ID here. So let's do new user details as our ID here. And then when we select it here, we're going to do that. And the text is going to be that. All right, so let's see if that actually works or not. Okay, so it got an error, so that's fine. So let's do user details dot name. I believe that that should actually get us a value. So let's just see if that works. Maybe it just can't display a whole object and we'll have to break it apart, which that's fine if that's the case. It does seem like it actually does work. We did get test employee 1 there. So that seems pretty good. So let's go back into into here. Let's do text. I wonder if it'll let us do a string literal here. It seems like it does. So let's do name. So name. So let's copy paste these. Um, that. So username. We're gonna put that as that. So let's just do. Actually, let's do this first. User details dot username, and then all we're gonna do is copy paste this here. We're gonna paste that, paste that, paste, 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 and paste. All we're gonna do is user principal name here, employee ID, title, enabled, password expired, locked out, and last bad password attempt. All right, and then we're just going to remove all of these now. And we'll see what it looks like. Test employee 1. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so we do get all that information, which is nice. It is very crunched together, though, which I am not a super fan of. And I figured the string literal would kind of help that. But it doesn't seem to actually have helped at all. Um, hmm. I wonder if there's different options here at this point. So if we go to typography, The only thing that I can tell, though, is we could potentially do a new UD element. Welcome in to you, Science. Nice to see you as well again on this Saturday morning. No worries. Kind of want to try this. So new UD element. Can I do an ID for this? I can. Okay. If I do that, and I do, we just comment this out. We do this, and we do tag as a unordered list, and we go content is blank. Now in my set here, if I do content, will that work? I know that I don't have my list items in there yet, but I just want to see what it kind of looks like, because even if you don't put list items, it should still load the text in at least, which is great. So now if I do list items here, if I just do the one, because that should, in theory, load up just fine. The first one should be a list item, and it's not. Okay. It literally just loads in the exact text. Okay. Thank you, Eduardo. Welcome in. Welcome in on this Saturday morning. So I'm thinking if that doesn't work, there's still another way that I think we can do this. So if we do this here, and we do new UD element, ID is going to be, this method is definitely quite longer, but I think probably more stable. I'm hoping. If we do a tag as li, and we do content, ID is going to be new user details name. Now, if we do this, actually, let's just copy paste this one here. If we do new user details name, and we do the properties as content, and we put the content as this here. Wrap that in some quotes. Instantly disappears. Oh, because I still have this here though. let's go ahead and let's comment this out here. This way, at least that's not going to have an impact because I'm basically scrapping the content at that point. Okay, so name test employee one. So that actually does work. So we could actually do this. Okay. Now I wonder if I'm trying to think of if we can do something, but we're gonna have to test it in Visual Studio. This way we can actually seems like it was frozen. Okay, it actually works. So let's see what we can actually do here. So let's do that. And we're gonna say test employee employee one. If we get the user details for that, we get user details and we get it like that. Okay, perfect. So what I want to try is, can we do like a for each like property in user details dot let's see if we can see. What I would like to do is user details get member. Let's see what options we have in here. I wonder if we do get member, where member where member type is equal to note property. Okay, perfect. I think that this will work. So let's go properties equals that dot name. So once we have our properties here, so if we run this, there's all of our properties. So for each property in properties, write output, and we're going to say property, and we're going to then do user details dot $ property, and that should actually get us all the properties. There it is. So there's all the properties right there. The only one that didn't seem to work, which was last bad password attempt, but I think if we do that to string, I think that that'll actually work, unless it's just blank in general. It seems like that doesn't like it, but let's just see what user details is. Last password attempt is blank anyways, so that's fine. Vimali asks what is the programming? So the programming language is PowerShell. So we're using PowerShell Universal to create a dashboard, basically a help desk dashboard. So we're using PowerShell in the back end, PowerShell in the front end as well, which is not super common. There are definitely different ways to do this, but we're just trying it fully through PowerShell. So I think that this will actually work. I think that this is actually like a very dynamic way to actually display properties. And what we'll have instead of write output here is we're going to create the tags inside. So here's what we're going to do. So we're going to do this. We're going to copy paste. We're going to copy this. We're going to go in here. What I'm doing is we are actually going to erase. Oops. Let's expand the editor here. It's going to be a lot easier. Now that Shane has showed me how to do that, there's no reason to not. So once we have that here, we're going to change that to set it to new user details. And we are going to put the content, so properties. We are going to set the content to, I hope this is going to work. It might not work, but I think it's worth a try. If we do this, and we do let's see here what the code is for that. So new UD element. Hey, Mike. Thanks. All right, so once we have our for each, we're just going to paste this in here. And we're just going to cut this out, put that here. And we're not going to put IDs for this. I don't think we need them. This is already looking pretty confusing when just looking at it. But I think it makes sense. I think. I could be wrong. It might not make any sense. But I think it's worth the effort for sure. Okay, yeah, no, that's definitely not going to work. I have another idea, which is going to use the same type of for each, but we're going to do it a slightly different way here. So what we're going to do is we are going to put this back here, put that back there, so I don't have all the red squigglies anymore. So what I want to do is I want to take this code out. We don't need the parentheses in here, so we're going to get all the properties. We're going to do a for each loop. We're going to do that. In here, what we're going to do is we're going to do the set UD element. But instead of setting the content to equals, we're going to set the content to a plus equals here. and paste that in here. And what we're going to do is right before we do this, we're going to set the content to blank. And I think that that will actually work. It says we have a syntax error somewhere. Can we do this using Python? Yeah, you would definitely be able to do this with Python, especially at the web front end portion for sure. The web backend, you probably could if you had some type of Python like Active Directory module. And yes, I am from Canada as well. So I think I really wish it showed me what the error was for this, because I have a feeling it's that. Yeah. Okay. So I don't think we can just add to it. I think that that's the issue. But let's go ahead. Let's give it a try. See what happens. Um, yeah, so nothing popped up here, which is what I was afraid of. Um, yeah, so it might not be actually doable in the way that we wanted to do it. Which is a little unfortunate, but we're just gonna see if I can just think of something really quickly here on like how we can get this to work. But I think as long as this is a hash table, we can't do a plus equals, which is really, really what's setting me back at this point. We do a set UD element. Yeah, I don't think that there's a way to actually do this in like a nice fashion. Um, so let's see if we can do like new UD. There is new UD HTML. I wonder if that would be something that I could use and kind of like create the general gist of it using this, and then setting the text at the end. Um, let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens. I mean, we're not losing anything for trying. Um, let's just kind of shrink this a little bit. So let's just comment this out. We're going to do new UD element. Sorry, new UD HTML ID is going to be new user details. We always want it to be new user details, basically. Now, is there anything in here or just HTML? And like, does it actually, okay, so it's in markup. Perfect. So I think like this will actually, I think this might actually work. Hopefully. I mean, it might not, but I think it's worth a try. So it is just the markup. Okay, perfect. So now all we need to do is in here create a text field here. We're going to say that equals a unordered list we're just going to cut that, paste that here. And then in here, we're going to say text is plus equals li slash li. So we got a new list item. And we are going to store it as this. And then at the end, we're going to say text, text equals plus equals, sorry. And then we're going to do a closing unordered list. And then we're going to set the UD element markup is equal to text. Now this in theory, I think unexpected. Oh, so we can do that. That. I think that that'll work. I think. I could be wrong, but let's go ahead. A parameter cannot be found that matches parameter name ID. So can HTML not have new UD HTML new user details markup? Let's just do a break here. Let's see what happens at least. Okay, no, that does not work. Okay. All right. Good morning, Jack. Powershell helped me this week in a big project for our team. In essence, some things I learned from you. All work and time saved. That's awesome to hear, Lawrence. I'm glad that I was able to actually help you guys out, and I'm glad you guys were able to be able to save a lot of time and save a lot of work using PowerShell. That's definitely like the kind of the end goal of PowerShell for sure in my eyes. So we have all this text here, and we unfortunately cannot use um, the UD element, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is, I guess. I mean, what we might be able to do actually is if we do new UD element. Okay, let's do that. Let's paste this in here. Cut this out. If when we actually go to put this in here, let's do content, it's going to be equal to this. It's not going to have an ID. And the markup is going to be text. Will that work? It's definitely kind of feel like a very hack way around it. I don't know if it'll work. It does not actually work. UD element. Unless we do content, maybe we need to put content in there beforehand, but I kind of doubt it at this point. I think we might be stuck doing it the long way. Which I mean, it does work. Like doing it this way, we'll just have to like reference each of the lines. It's just obviously not the preferred method that I would definitely like to use. And maybe there are ways to do it. I just don't know them at this point yet. Just gonna see if we can because the typography, like in here, there was a definitely a for each option. They were spacing it apart. But I wonder if we were doing a new UD typography. No, I think we're just going to stick to this for now. And we're just going to say new user details, name. And we are just going to go ahead and we're just going to copy paste a bunch of these details. So we have name. All we need is all the other things here now. So let's go ahead. Let's go here. Paste that in here. We're going to have new UD element. So that is going to be a username, user principal name, employee ID, title, enabled, password expired, locked out, last bad password attempt. Okay, so username, oh, I probably should not have deleted that. I will need pretty much all of those still. This here, expand this out. So we have username, user principal name, employee ID, title, enabled, password expired, locked out, and last bad password attempt. Let's go ahead, let's close all these out. So now that we have all of these, we should then just be able to go ahead and now, actually, we might be able to do something here. Because we named them with all the actual property names, what I might actually be able to do is for each property, we can go ahead and set the element for new user details. We're going to have to wrap these in double quotes because we're going to be using a variable in here and we want it to actually act on the variable. Property. The content is going to be user details property. I think that that will actually work. I think that that might actually be our solution. Let's go ahead. Let's try it out. And look at that. That's actually perfect. So now all we need to really do is go ahead and we're just going to change this a slight bit. We're going to add property colon variable wrapper and then in here. So now if we actually save this, it'll actually make a little bit more sense instead of just showing all the random variables here. And there it is. It's not showing me username for some reason. So let's see what the property is in here. It is username. Is that what I put the entitled to. Unless it's case sensitive, which it might be. Yes, it is. All right, so there it is. So it actually loads in all the user details right here. So that's actually great. Yeah. Okay, well, that's actually super cool. That actually worked. Took us a little while to actually figure it out, but I think it paid off in the end. Um, so now there'll be all the groups to display as well, though. Uh, and I know that that's a little bit different. So let's just delete that here. Um, we're going to remove this table. So now the only thing that we need to add is the groups. Now we could leave the groups here, but I think it would make just more sense to put it all here. Um, so let's go back in here. And then what we're going to be doing is we can where's all of our user details here? So this will be our new user details refresh here. So let's do that. There was nothing wrong with having it in the table, Shane. I simply just want it to be more of like a single pane application. So I didn't want to have to like scroll down to see all the details, basically. That was really the only thing. So basically, I wanted to kind of fix the formatting so it was a little bit more user friendly to use. I'm still debating putting these search results up here and moving these right below it. But we just need to move the group membership as well. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with it for sure. Uh, I mean, the table is definitely nice because you have the ability to search. Um, but the reason why we were using the table is we were just selecting an employee from here. So I don't really think that like having those extra features, I don't think really serves like a real like purpose or anything. But here we can see like it's enabled. If we click disable now, um, it does auto update it as well. We can still reset the password. So password for employee 1 has been reset. We go ahead and we search for it again. So we do need to like reset this stuff, but that's not a big deal to do. But yeah, if we do employee 1, it'll load it up. We do employee 2, it'll load all the info up here. So it's pretty easy to do. And it just looks a little bit, I find it just looks a little bit nicer than having to scroll down, because this is the old tool. So this is our first version here, right? So when we were searching for an employee, I would search, I would click on the employee 1 here. And to see any info, I was having to scroll down. And then, okay, so now I see that the user's not enabled. So now I have to scroll all the way back up to enable it. So I just want it to be a little bit more user friendly. That was really the main purpose. Really the main purpose of this one. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna have another grid. So let's go here. And I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a new grid here for the groups, and we're gonna have that set to 3. This set to 2. Now this will be for all the groups. That's where, honestly, I think the groups still belong in a table. I think that the groups do belong in a table. And all we're going to do is we're just going to change this. We're going to remove it from there. And all we're going to be doing is pasting it in this new grid. So like you can definitely keep the tables and just move them around in the grid. That's 100%. You can definitely do that. So let's see what that looks like. I don't know how the table will look like in a very small screen. This is what I was worried about. So what we might do is this is 3. This is 2. Or this is where we're going to change our search to be up there. Yeah. So we might have to do that. So that looks a little bit better. So I think if this had just a little bit more space, I think it would be okay. I mean, we could probably shrink this as well. Let's do that. Let's just shrink that a little bit. So let's shrink that to a 3, and that means we can put this to a 5. Yeah, definitely we can definitely use tabs as well, because I think the tabs would be on the same page, so we can easily display information. So we do that. It still looks a little bit rough here, but I mean, it's not the end of the world. We did employee, selected our test employee 2 here. We have all of our group membership. We have our employees. I think what I would like to do is move this ever so slightly. So move these 3 down and this up. let's go ahead and let's just do that. So what we can do is we have all of these. This is set to a 2. So what we can do is do a new UD grid. It's an item. It is extra small size is going to be 10. Content. And we're going to go ahead, we're going to copy this. Paste it in here. Save, and let's see what that looks like now. So we have our search. I think that looks a little bit better. We can use that. Still need to scroll a little bit. But I think that does look quite a bit better. I mean, there's a lot of ways that we could definitely make this this better for sure. I mean, there's always ways to definitely change the layout. As Shane said, like we could even use tabs as well. Eventually. Hi it up. How's it going today? So what we can actually do is so we have our 10. So we have 2, 5. So we have 7. So we have 3. So we can actually do that as let's do that as 4. Let's do that as actually let's do that as 5. That is 4. All we're going to do here is actually just do a new UD grid item, extra small size. We're going to put 1. We're just going to put content here as empty just to give it like a little bit of a buffer size between the table and the reset password. So now if we do test here, we can click on our test employee. It'll actually load in all the information here, which is perfect. Yeah, so I think that that actually does, I mean, really, really work. I mean, we can definitely make this way smaller as well. I don't think we need to have the search as big as it is. So that's where like really playing around with the layout really, really makes a difference, right? Like, I think that, we can easily make this quite a bit better. So if I even just reduce um the search here, so this actual search, let's reduce this to like 5. Um, just use the one that you have on the left. So like remove, I don't know if I can remove that or not, but let's check to see if we can remove the search. Oh yeah, I can. So that was just this show search option here. You're right. So let's do that. Let's see what that'll do. So that kind of simplifies it a little bit. Yeah, so at this point, now we're doing the search, pulling this up. I don't even know if I really need all of this information or if I should just really have the name and the employee ID. Like, I don't really have to have the SAM account name, I think. Um, and then we could potentially have it almost all on one thing. I'm going to try this out for a second. Let's make the search at the top full size. Like we're going to take the whole thing. We're going to change. We're not going to have the SAM account name. We're going to have just name and that. And we're going to make that a size 3. So let's just see what this looks like for now. I know it's going to look bad at first. It's going to look bad for the first few times. That's fine. Okay, so I need the SAM account name in there because unfortunately my searches kind of rely on it. Okay, that's fine. Is there a visible though? There is not. Um, I wonder what dense is. Does dense like compact the table a little bit? See, I would still need something a little bit bigger here. Um, I mean, I don't need the employee ID in reality in the table. That's for sure. So let's do that. Let's make that. So that's fine. That's fine. Let's see what that does here. Yeah, I'm thinking that this search should definitely go on the top right beside this the username search. I think otherwise I'm just trying to cluster it too much. Or I guess we could put this back up here since there is space for it. Let's go here. Where's the controls? We do that. Cut that out from there. And we're going to paste that up here. Let's change that to a 4, that to an 8. So that'll change that. I think that this actually might be a bit better here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make um, okay. That's 4, so that's 4. Then we have 6 and 10. So let's do that. And then we're just going to put another place space maker here. Save that. So I think that that actually is probably going to be our best layout considering the space we actually have here. We could probably make this a little bit bigger. So let's do this full size here. Let's comment this out. Let's make that 5. See what that looks like. I think that already looks a little bit better. I mean, we don't have to have the description either. I don't even use a, I just search on literal. I don't even use a user selection. I just search on literal usernames, advanced search for everything else. So you would just make this be like an exact match. So if there's no user found, it just kind of gives you a no user found option. Is that what you're thinking, Shane? Okay, yeah, I think that's a great idea actually. Like, it makes sense to be honest. If there's no user found, just says no user found type of thing. And this way you can make this easily one page app with no scrolling or anything. Um, I think that's great. I think there's a very easy way to do that too. Like basically all we need to do is really change our call here. So instead of list users, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going and we're going to be doing this here. Basically, we're going to be doing all of this. So we're going to be taking this. And we're going to be stashing that in here, basically. Yeah, so I think that that should be good. So if I do that, I save that for now. Our search thing will still be there, but it won't be actually active. So if I do employee 1, we get everything back. If we just do employee, it will give us an error, which is fine. I mean, the errors are pretty obvious. It cannot find an identity. We can easily probably clean that up, but that's fine. So let's do that. Let's go here. So what we can do is actually do a try. I think that that'll work. And then a catch here. And just do that. That is blank. And then we should be setting all of these as blank as well. We're just going to put this here for now. We're just going to do this. Name. Put that like that for now. And then the other thing that we want to do now is we don't need a selection anymore. We also don't need that anymore. So now if we do employee 1, we get our results. If we do employee, it goes blank. That's blank, so we just need to blank everything else out pretty much, which is fine. So now we just go here. We copy paste this, and then in our catch statement, we could do that. And I think what we could probably do is just do content blank. And if we just do this, paste this a bunch of times here. Right. All right, so now if we do that, save that, we go in here, it refreshes, we type in a actual username of a user, it loads it in. If we type in a incorrect username, okay, so it does actually force us to do it in the blocks. That's fine. That's pretty easy to fix at this point. Oh, that. Content. And all we need to do is just copy this, paste that here, 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 and here. Paste that in there. Refresh the page. Employee 1. We get the results. Employee blanks it out. We're also going to basically have to disable these as well, which is fine. And we're going to have to reset this group membership page. So let's do so let's just do this. That's going to be set to true and true. Just going to copy that again, and we're going to do that, and we're going to say set password and unlock account. And the other thing that we want to do is basically reset the groups here. So what we're going to do is we are going to say that the data for groups, I think we could just probably blank this out. And I think that that should work. So now if we look up employee 1, we get all of our details here. If we enter an incorrect username, it resets all of it. So it doesn't, we can't possibly break something by accident, which is awesome. So we can actually probably move the user details up here, display the group memberships like large and in charge there. So let's put this as the search as 2 here. We really don't need any more than that. The reset the controls, I mean, we can put that as 5. The grid for the selected users at this point, we can move that up here, right above, right beside here. Move that to 5. Let's go ahead. Let's see what it looks like. There it is. The only thing that I don't really like about that, though, still, is it'll have a scroll. It's pretty flexible, Eduardo. It takes a little bit of manipulating, is what I've found the most. It's definitely very user friendly. It might take a little bit of kind of like playing around with it, I find. Which I mean is fine. Like it's all part of kind of the learning a new application, learning like a whole new system. So I definitely find it fine. I don't find it super cumbersome. So the controls, so if we have that as, let's just put that as, let's put that as 3, put the reset password as 9. It definitely helps if you have some type of HTML knowledge, though. I would definitely say that. But once you have that, like we can do test employee free here. Here's all the info for test employee free. We can disable the account, which is nice. If we do a search for it again, like that's the really, really nice part, is it's definitely nice. And there are ways to make this dynamically refresh. We did find that. Now I've already been streaming for almost 2 hours, and I do have some things to do today, but we're gonna keep streaming a little bit longer. Because there is this dynamic regions. So pages themselves are dynamic in nature. So we could potentially do this, which is great because that really lets us be able to kind of like refresh the buttons in a way. And I think that that could be useful. Yeah, so I think if we did that, um, we just have to see how the dynamic regions really work. But it seems like you can have very specific portions be dynamic. Um, can you align the reset button with the box? More than likely. Um, the way that they are right now, it is very much just the default settings pretty much here. I wonder if I did that. I think that might just make the button look really, really unnecessarily big. But it might. Yeah, so it is like a little bit offset compared to the text box. It's almost as if there's like styles applied on it or something. But I mean, what we could do actually, instead of even having um, this, oh, put it to the left of the box. Potentially. Um, maybe like this, like putting it inside of a paragraph pretty much. Uh, it still doesn't line up, um, which like bothers me slightly. It was bothering me that they weren't lined up before either, but I'm thinking that that could be styles applied. So what I'm thinking about doing is actually changing. Um, we can change this UD text box to um, new UD typography, um, and then have that as text, and then text here. I think that that'll look a bit better. We can see what that looks like. Uh, Test employee one. Wait, so we need to change the color of the text because it is black on black right now. But I think that that actually looks a lot better. Um, Style, I think it was that. I think that's what I had seen for typography. How to do the styles. Style, yeah, so style. So style at color equals white. That should line up a little bit better here. So now if we go employee one, we start looking at it, we can hit reset password. There you go. I think that looks a lot better. I think it was a good idea moving the button to the side, and then just removing it from being a text box. I think the text box has like weird styling. So I think this just looks a lot better. Um, and then we have the ability to do these, which is great. I mean, we could even probably move these buttons here as well and literally remove a whole other line, which would take up even less space, which would make it scroll even less. I mean, we can try it, see what it looks like. So let's do this. Let's copy these. Um, so let's cut that. Let's not cut that much. So that's like that. That's why I like to format it properly. Now let's do that. Paste that in here. Yeah, there you go. I think that looks even better now. So we can do test employee one here. We can do a reset password. It just moves. Okay, so let's make this ever so slightly bigger. That's okay. Yeah, that's fair. And also, when you click reset button, at least it doesn't get moved around. Very good idea. Very good idea. That is the one thing that I really, really struggle with is making things look good. Web front end to me is very, very foreign to me still. Yeah, I think that looks a lot better. I agree. So if we do employee one here, we have all of our options. We can hit reset password, and that just appears down here. Now I'm actually thinking this might actually look better on this next like bottom line so it doesn't wrap, but I could make this bigger. So that was kind of where I was going, was making this a 10. Making this a 2 here. And I think that even that will actually make it a lot better. So if we do employee one here, it also brings the buttons a little bit closer, which just kind of looks a little bit better. We do the reset, it's literally just on one line, so it doesn't wrap around anymore, which is kind of cool. I mean, it would work down here as well. But yeah, I think just the no wrapping, it helps. It keeps it all in one line. I think that was a great idea. So now all we really have to do is like dynamically update the buttons. Um, Now it's going to be using these dynamic regions. Um, and that's where I'm just not 100% sure on, because it seems like we can't even make the buttons themselves. Like once I hit enable account, I already have it set to, with the button enable account, on the click, I used to have the button be disabled if it was enabled. Um, so like on click, if we just do set UD element ID, um, enable account, and then properties disabled is equal to true. This didn't work. So if we go back here, so if I hit disable account, because we only modified the enable account button. So if I hit enable account, okay, so it actually did work. Interesting. So I must have just had it incorrect before. Okay, so let's do that, and let's do disable account is equal to false. And then all we want to do is when you hit disable account, it activates the enable, disables the disable. Um, okay, so that actually probably will work now. So let's go employee one. We can disable the account. Then we can enable the account. Yeah, so that actually works. And now we can hit reset password. I don't think I have any account that's locked right now. We can go look. Nothing there. Test employee brief. I don't think there's anything there yet, but it does give me the option to enable the account. Oh, we should also reset this reset password thing here when we do a new search. Okay, so let's do, where is the reset password button? I'm going to set this, copy this to when we do a new search for a user. That's going to be text. And then if there's an error here, I'm going to also just do that. And I wonder if we can do a catch. We do new UD alert. Severity is going to be error. Text is going to be error. I know the other day this wasn't working for me either for some reason. So let's do employee 1. It works. Reset the password. That's fine. Employee 2. Now that should actually. All right, and then if we enter an incorrect, okay, yeah, so we did get an alert here. Oh, I don't think that's an alert. I think that's an actual PowerShell universal error. All right, let's go full screen here. Actually, let's go in here. Let's look up the alerts. Yeah, that's all it's supposed to be is just this. Let's change it to info and see if that works. Okay, yeah, so it is the error that I'm popping up, but I don't want it to actually replace the whole screen here. I just want it to like, kind of like a notification more than anything. Like I don't want it to actually um, uh, hmm. All right, so I'm not seeing. Alert. I mean, we could. What we could do is have something right over the form, like a new severity is going to be info, let's say. ID is going to be alert. And text is going to be please enter username to search. Let's see what that looks like for now. Don't really like that. I would really prefer it to just pop up at the bottom like the notifications that they have when there's like an actual like error. Um, PowerShell universal pop-up. Can we do pop-up? I mean, that could make sense. Just a little modal. Okay, let's do this. So where's our error here? This is probably going to be the last thing that we do to end off the stream here, but we're just going to say show modal. Let's just see if this works. Let's first just test it out, see if it works. If I put in a bad name, we get hello, which is perfect. So that's what we want. So then what we're going to do is we're going to say new UD alert. Severity is going to be error. And then username not found. I wonder if we can do a dot error dot message here. I wonder if that'll work as well. Just this way we can get like the actual error message from PowerShell here. Username not found. We don't get the actual error messages, which is fine. We can also just do this, see if that shows up anything. I doubt it at this point, but at least we have a pop-up. Okay, yeah, perfect. So username not found, cannot find an object under the employee. So that's perfect. So it actually gives us a nice error message and the actual error message from the API. So I think that this is a pretty well-built application at this point. So what we've actually gone from for the people that joined us today is let's actually see what we started off with and what we ended up with. So this was the application at the beginning of the day. So we had this application where we can search for employees. You would have to select your employee. And then to see any details of your employee, you had to scroll down and kind of see what it is. If it was enabled, you wanted to disable it, you had to scroll back up, hit disable. The disable button would not be removed. So you would actually have to then re-click on the user to like refresh it, and then you'd be able to enable it. So it was a lot of scrolling. Now we have a one single pane. If we enter our username, the only caveat to this is we have to enter the exact username, but we get all the details here. Very easy to read. We can see that it is not enabled anymore, so we can actually enable it. And right away, it updates here. We have the option to disable it. We can reset the password here as well, just like we could before. We have to scroll down just to see the different groups if there's any groups here. If we enter a username that does not exist, we get an error and it erases everything in the background. So it is definitely a lot better. We were able to manipulate how it looks in PowerShell Universal by using the grid layout in this video. So you guys will see some PowerShell Universal tutorials coming out pretty shortly as well. I'm going to start working on PowerShell Universal off the stream as well. Probably do some of it at... I'm going to be showing some of these things at work, seeing if they want to actually implement some of these things for some of our technicians. But you guys will be seeing a tutorial series on this pretty shortly on how to create endpoints using PowerShell Universal, how to use the job scheduler. And then on the next couple live streams, we're going to be doing some different things. Now, next week, I will actually most likely not be streaming next week, which is February 3rd at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Because I mean, as you guys know from my name on the channel, it is JackedProgrammer. And on the description, I am a powerlifter, and I have some of my close friends and coaches actually competing in a high-level tournament not too far from me, so I'm going to be going there and helping them out during the day. So I won't be able to actually live stream that day. I will be away for pretty much the entire day. But then February 10th, we'll be right back. We'll be jumping right back into some tech and programming live streams for you guys. And we'll be playing around with maybe if you guys want some more PowerShell Universal, we can do some more PowerShell Universal. If you guys want to maybe explore Docker or explore Ansible, we can start taking a look at maybe seeing that. I also saw that Microsoft released their Windows Server 2025 preview build. So if you guys wanted to take a look at that preview build together, we can even do that as well. I think that'd be kind of cool. For all of us home labbers out there, one of the big things that I saw, and I mean, I made a video on the channel how to get around that. But a lot of the times for me, I'm usually running a home lab on either a laptop or a desktop, and I don't really have the ability to run cables throughout my apartment. So I need to use Wi-Fi or a Wi-Fi dongle, which by default, Windows Server never actually had that enabled by default. I mean, in all fairness, for the most part, if you do have a server, especially in production, you should always have it wired. No matter what company you are, wired connection will always be much, much better. But in Windows Server 2025, they actually have the Wi-Fi service enabled now by default. So we don't actually have to go through all the work to enable the Wi-Fi service. It will actually be enabled by default, which is great for us home labbers. So thank you guys for tuning in today. I went a little bit over my 2 hours that I typically stream. I hope you guys liked today's stream. Stay tuned again. This week there will be another video coming out. As I said, I won't be here next Saturday, but I will be here the following Saturday on the 10th. I hope you guys have a wonderful Saturday and a wonderful Sunday. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. And I hope you guys have a great week until I see you guys next time. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Also, be sure to hit that notification bell. I know it doesn't always work for the live videos, but I do know that it works for the videos posted on the channel. So be sure to hit that so at least you'll be able to be notified when those come out. Thank you guys. Thanks, Shane. Thanks to you, Science. I will see you guys next time.